Hi guys, hello. So today what I'm going to be making is something for me. As you all know, I suffer from arthritis, and the tabletop I'm using, it's an old tabletop, is a bit too low down. So what it's doing, it's making me ache and my back ache and all that kind of stuff. And it's, I'm blaming it on arthritis. It's probably age related as well, to be perfectly honest with you. But I just need to make my life a bit easier. So I was going to get rid of this table that I've got and make just a fresh table, but it's got really good storage for the wood underneath. So I'm going to keep that, and I'm going to make like a portable top, but I'm going to add into it some features that I've been wanting to use, because some of the stuff, projects I want to do, I haven't got any sort of proper work holding, that kind of stuff. So this is the first time I've seen some videos of stuff similar, and you can make these to suit your needs. So I'm going to add some functionality into it. It can't be too light because of its uses, but it can't be too heavy because I do need to move it about. So I've got to try and strike a balance there. So for the top, I'm using 3/4 inch hardwood plywood, and I'm sandwiching it together, so there's two, because just to give it some stability, some sort of beef. And then I'm going to use sort of pine for the surrounds. So this will sit on top of my existing tabletop, and I'm making it to a size that I can put a table saw at one end, maybe use it as an outfeed table, give it sort of quite a few uses. So the initial cut's going to be 120, and I've marked it. I want it to sort of end up round about 180. I hate this saw. I really hate it with a passion. I don't know why it gives me the ibby-jibbies. There's got to be a tool you use in your workshop that you don't like using. Put it in the comments what it is. Mine's that track saw. Hate it. I might get myself a cheap just circular saw. I sold my other one because it was a bit past it, and I thought, I'll do what everybody else is doing, get a track saw. And I just don't like it. I don't know what it is. It might be just me. I haven't got a clue, but I just do not like it. So I'm just trimming it down now. So like I say, I want this to be roughly 118 centimetres long at the finish up, and 60 centimetres sort of wide, so it sits nice on the existing table. So here I've got the two pieces cut, and I'm going to glue these together. So I'm just making sure, I'm just getting it as, seeing if I've made my cuts sort of accurate. Now don't forget, I'm not a professional, so I am going to make mistakes. So I'm just using what glue I've got basically, and I have got some of this Type-Bond 3 that I've had for a while. So I thought I'd use that up. I'm spreading it. I'm just going to get a nice even coat on there. There's something oddly satisfying about doing that. I don't know what it is. I just like making a mess. Just a man, aren't I? Normally I'm sort of mega organised and stuff like that, but with me woodworking, no matter how organised I try and get, I just can't, and I've got to make life a little bit easier for me with like the arthritis and stuff, and that's what this is all about. And really, all you guys should be sort of trying something like this as well, because it did bend my mind a little bit making it. It's easy seeing them, other people making them and stuff like that, but when you're doing it yourself, it's an whole different story. So my plan was with this, just take my time and just, don't rush anything, because that's one of my downsides, is a rush. So I do sandwich this together, clamp it together, put some wood, is it coals they call them, over the top, and I leave it overnight to dry. I actually leave it overnight, and then I put it inside and I leave it another 24 hours, so it gets a good sort of 48 hours before I come back to it. So I've broke out the old clamps from my old clamp box, so there you can see I've just sort of like as much sort of weight on it and sort of to get it together to go right. I don't know if I'm doing that right, but I'm assuming it'll be okay. So when I'm taking the clamps off here, I can see that it's all fine. So I was just using some of my pallet wood there as cauls. So now what I'm doing is I'm just refining what I want, how I'm gonna sort of build this. This was one of them builds where I had to sort of do things as it went on. I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know how I was gonna go about it. So I'm using 6x1 pine here for the sides. Now it worked out just perfect. That worked out 14.5 centimetres, and with the 2 sheets of 3/4 inch pine, the height was absolutely spot on. So I got out of jail there. But if it needed to be a bit bigger, I had a piece of 8x1 what I could have just ripped down slightly, but it worked out perfect. So basically it's just like a carcass type base I'm making here. Just measuring the thickness of that, it worked out about 20 mil or something like that. And I'm just marking out where I'm going to be putting stuff like for cutting out and stuff like that. I've probably been going a bit overboard here, but I want it to look nice as well. I don't want it to look rubbish, and I want it to last. That's the main thing. Just marking everything nice and easy there. You know, I thought I lost my pencil, but there it is right next to me, my silver pencil. I was looking all over it. It was right in front of my eyes. So for the sides and the ends, there was quite a bit of marking out because I wanted to get these right. So I'm just drilling some holes in here because I'm going to be jigsawing some pieces of wood out. I thought I'll do this with a jigsaw in a minute because I just wanted to have more practice with my jigsaw. So them jobs that you think, oh, it'll only take 5 minutes, end up taking quite a while, and this was one of them, cutting these sections out of the 6x1 with jigsaw. You know, taking my time and just making sure I got it as accurate as I could to make it sort of look good. And then when I've cut them out, I'm just going over with a little round over to get rid of them sharp edges and sort of tidy everything up there. So again, I'm just getting an awl, putting some pilot holes in. Don't forget, guys, let me know where you're all from and what you've all been up to making this week. Put it down in the comments. Just to let you know, I'll be putting videos regular on the YouTube membership thing and on Patreon. So like I've been at loggerheads how to do it, but I've sort of come up with a plan which should sort of benefit everybody. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you've not already, if you're watching video. So here what I'm doing is I'm just putting glue onto the end grains, and I'm going to leave it. I'm going to let that soak in. Little tip I was told to do, because I'm going to be gluing that to a side, so it will be getting screwed as well, but I just thought just do it because it'll just make me a bit better, and I know I've done it, because it's notorious in it, the end grain, for soaking up the glue. So apparently this helps sealing them sort of straws, for a better word, up a little bit, makes things a little bit better when you go to put things together. I'll just leave that for a while. So now I'm just going to square everything up. Make sure everything's nice and square as I'm putting this carcass together. There's probably easier ways of doing it than what I'm doing it, but it's how I'm doing it. And you know, you guys will probably relate. You know, you're hobbyist amateurs like me. or be, you know, in your shed. You've just got to do what you've got to do sometimes. We haven't all got the fancy sort of angle braces and all this kind of stuff to do stuff with. So it's a matter of belt and braces, and just get on with it and make it a square. Just take your time and just make sure everything's square. As you can see there, I'm just taking my time, making sure I've got everything as square as I possibly can. Is it 100% square? Probably not, but you know, it is what it is. So I'm just marking out here pilot holes for where this is going. The top, I'm going to fit the top down. Now, I'm not going to glue the top down because just in case for future, I want to just flip it over at some stage, or, you know, there might be something where I might just want to add a new top to the frame or something like that. So again, I'm just tidying everything up with this horrible saw. Little tip I've got told is the hole at the side, put some tape over it. It stops, you know, it doesn't matter how much extraction you got, they're just messy saws. So I'm tidying the edges up at the top. And I have screwed that down, the top now screwed down there. Just tidying it up, making it look nice, taking them sharp, horrible edges off. So something I've never had, what I wanted was something for work holding. So I got this cheap, it's only a cheap vise. And if I'm perfectly honest with you, I'm not over the moon with it, but it'll do for my needs, for what I'm going to use. So I just needed to pack out a bit more area there to fit this properly. So I glue that, screw it down, make sure it's nice and secure. I'll put a link to the vise if you want to go and have a look at it. The reviews, all right. You know, what would I give it out of 10 if I was reviewing the vise? Probably a 6. But for the money, you get what you pay for, and it, you know, it was delivered to my door, and it'll be fine for me. So I'm just making some little slight alterations here. This sort of like project, there's a bit of everything in it really. You know, if you're in a short space, a small space should I say, these little things are ideal. Like this portable tabletop that I'm making, I've still got me storage underneath the main table for me timber, my wood. And I can use this now, use it as an outfeed table, use it as multi-purpose like that, and then I'm adding work holding to it as well, which makes it even better for me. And no more sort of bending over like what you don't see in the video. Sometimes my back is absolutely cramped, it's gone, you know, and it's what it is. I noticed it's when I'm bending over and stuff like that. Just nice and easy with the table saw there. Now these are, what I'm cutting here are for the jaws for the vise, but I'm going to replace them at some point with hardwood jaws. Just for now I'd get it. So I'm going in here now with making some dog holes. These are 20mm dog holes. I'm using a spade bit just for quickness. Underneath there's quite a lot of tear out, I'll admit it. You don't see that on the video, but I do tidy it up as much as I can, and it's fine because it's for me in the warehouse, in the workshop, and it works perfectly fine. You know, it looks worse than it actually is underneath. So I'm just rounding over them as well, just to tidy them up, take the sharp edges off and make them look a bit neater. And I'm just routing in a channel here now. I do this in 2 passes for some T-track. I've bought my T-track. I think I got it off Banggood. I've had it in the house for a while, waiting to be used. So I'm just giving it a tap in. It's a nice tight fit, that. I could have put a bit of glue underneath it as well, but honestly, for what I use and that fit, and I screw it down anyway, it was fine. I did cut that T-track to size on, you know, cut it down using my normal saw, just take it nice and easy with it, but it was fine. They slide nice and easily. So there's a bit of functionality I've got there. So I've got some holding power there. I've got a vise. I've got some dog holes. So when I'm doing some sort of chiseling and sanding and needing work holding, I've now got that. So I bought myself one of these metallic, not magnetic, like sticky back tape measures. Cut it down to size. And I'm just going to place it at the end here. Sometimes when you've just got a piece of wood and you just need a quick measure, and I can just go to that at the end, you know, the end there. And it's stuck really well. Whether it comes off, I don't know. And I'm adding a magnetic strip to one end, so you know, tools that I've got that I'm, you know, will stick to a magnet. I can just put them on there. They're out my way. They're not, you know, they're not sort of hindering what I'm doing on the table. I've cut them holes under there, so you've got a bit of storage underneath the actual table itself, the portable table. And I have put a brace in the middle there. I don't think I showed you that on the video, sort of for support as well. So just making sure that all fits nice and neat, which it does. It overhangs about 1 centimetre that on one end, so I'll have to be careful of that. So I'm just going over everything now with a hand sand, getting all sharp bits and fluff off and stuff like that. I'm going to change them jaws on that vise, but for now, it's fine. And there's it's finished in sort of all its glory, so to speak. Is it perfect? No, it's far from perfect, but it'll do me, and it's going to last a while. What I will do, which I've not shown on camera, is I'm just waiting for some brushes to come so I can, you know, put some finish on it. I'll probably put an hard wax oil on the base. I might leave the top, but it all works as it should. Them holes are a bit tight, but they'll sort of free up as and when I'm using it. Let me know in the comments what you think of it, and is it something that you think you could do in your workshop? I've seen other people's versions of these, and you can add what you need for your needs. That's the main thing. Don't go what everybody else is doing. Do it for your needs and what you'll use it for. It's got a bit of weight to it, but it's not too heavy, so it can be put out the way if need be. But it'll stay there. Will hardly move. Bye for now.